Sturmwind is a polygon-based shmup for Dreamcast that was released in April of 2013. This game has been in development since 1997, where we originally saw a one-level demo for the Jaguar CD. The game was developed by Duranick and published by Red Spot Games. Red Spot Games and their founder are known for supporting the Dreamcast scene long after the system was dead. The graphics in this game are amazing. You can tell they have been fine-tuning the graphics since 1997. The game advertises that it has 100 enemies. I didn't personally see 100, but I'm pretty sure that number's close. Some enemies appear to be repeats of other enemies with slight tweaks done to them. With how frenetic the game is, it's tough to tell anyway. That's not a bad thing most of the time. Everything is moving in this game, and I mean everything. The background refuses to stay still. Every single level's appearance just flows. Unfortunately, every now and again, it'll be tough to tell what's an enemy and what's just the background. Also, sometimes it'll be tough to know what you can touch in the level and what'll actually kill you. Even still, the graphics are amazing. They show how far the Dreamcast can be pushed and not a single polygon or pixel of space is wasted. Every enemy, even down to the smallest one, looks good. They even break the fourth wall in this game, which is very cool to see. If you hit the wave bonus, you can destroy the words that actually say wave bonus. We also see something that I'm a pretty big fan of, which is the background to foreground interaction. There will be multiple times when you need to pay attention to what is happening in the background to know what's coming up next in the foreground. The sound effects is one area where not near as much was put into them. We hear the same sounds over and over. There's not much to say in that area. The music, on the other hand, is another highlight. It harks back to a very retro sound. Even though the game looks good enough that it can easily pass as a current-gen shmup, the music reminds me that I am holding a controller from a game system that is not current. To be able to play such a beautiful looking game with a soundtrack that sounds like it's straight out of 1995 is a complete treat. The gameplay in this game mainly consists of using three weapons: the Lick Blitz, the Nordwest, and the Rudel, which are denoted by L, N, and R on the power-up box respectively. You can also collect and use bombs, which are incredibly powerful in this game. Rudel is a straight-fire weapon. Lick Blitz is a weapon that is almost like a mix of a shield and a straight-fire weapon since it starts by shooting at the sides of your ship, and the Nordwest is a multi-directional shot. If you are currently using one weapon and pick up an icon of the same type, you will upgrade that weapon. This ties into your strategy because if you pick up an icon for a weapon that is not equipped and you still have the weapon, it essentially does nothing. The way surviving works is that if you get hit, you lose the weapon that you are currently using. If you don't have any of the three weapons left, you die. If you pick up a power-up for one of those weapons and you lost it, you can bring it back and switch to it later on if you want. Upgrading a weapon essentially means having up to 2 drone ships with you. Each time you upgrade, you get another drone. Now, these drone ships play into your strategy for surviving since at any time, with the hit of a button, you can make them shoot to the left or the right. You can also make your main ship shoot to the left or the right with the hit of a button as well. For this game, you will need to shoot in all directions. Sometimes the game acts like a horizontal shmup. Sometimes it acts similar to Battlemania 2 where it's horizontal, but you are moving up and down. Sometimes it acts like a top-down shmup, even though you're moving horizontally. This game surprised me because one of the most important weapons is the multi-directional shot, since there are multiple times where you will need it and have to save it until it is almost too late because you don't want to lose it. The only downside to this system is that sometimes I found myself having trouble getting a specific weapon upgrade since, in order to get the weapon you need, you have to shoot the power-up box to change it, and I would be in the heat of battle and accidentally shoot the power-up box and change it from what I needed or wanted to upgrade, and it would change to something else. The bullet patterns themselves are rarely aimed directly at you, and even with everything going on, the bullets are also very easy to see, which is really needed for this game. It is not very often that you will be dodging bullets. Most of the time, you will be dodging enemies, random objects being thrown at you, or the stage itself. The bosses in this game are probably one of the biggest highlights. There are 16 main ones, with multiple sub-bosses in the game. This brings the count to well over 20 bosses. Most of them are quick fights and die quick, but they are all very diverse. They never really reverted back to the classic shmup boss of it just being a big spaceship out in space. Each boss is pretty unique. Some bosses I can't even explain what they were, but there are so many to where that's going to happen with a few of them. There are multiple crab guys, but they all fought differently. Some of them even amazed me. There is one boss where I have no clue what it is outside of it being some massive machine, but it kept transforming and shifting like a full-on transformer, and you had to keep fighting through every form of its transformations. Since almost every level except for 2 or 3 are full-length shmup levels, it would have been really nice to see a boss rush mode to take in and admire each and every boss individually. Working your way through to get to a boss is a struggle, but when you get there, even with a very short fight, it feels worth it. I never shrugged off a boss, and it felt like I just got done with an amazing battle after every single boss. And they happen after every single stage, and with 16 stages, that's a lot of bosses. Sturmwind. This game has been in development since 1997, but it shows. It is a well-crafted and oiled machine that gives you no mercy, but is worth every inch that you fight. There's not much when it comes to extra options and replayability though. There is an arcade mode which has 6 stages and no continues. It also has leaderboards, and they found a way to have online leaderboards through the use of web codes. The only real downside of this game is the fact that there really is no boss rush mode. In a game that has as many bosses as this one does, it would have been a very nice and welcome feature. The main game has 16 stages and over 16 bosses. The main game itself, even on easy and just flying through the levels, will take most people an hour or more to make it through. This is a very long game. This is a German game, but works on most Dreamcast systems. You don't just play Sturmwind, you experience it. You owe it to yourself to give this game a go. When I first got the game, I honestly didn't know what to expect. It takes something pretty special to blow me away, and this game has done it. I feel as though I'm going through an amazing journey, and the developer was just nice enough to let me tag along. I highly recommend you get this game.